Well, I worked a whole freaking month this time, and I didn't make too many videos. I think I made one. I made one right when I left the house. I can't remember if I made another one right after that or not. But I left the house right here. If you look up on this little spreadsheet here, of course, this is one reason why I keep a spreadsheet. I would never remember any of this stuff if I didn't keep it all organized in some fashion like this. But if you look back, you can see a load right there North Augusta. That's when I came home. I took a load from Orangeburg, South Carolina, picked it up on 4-23. Today is 5-23. So that's a full month. I just got home yesterday. So anyway, I picked the load up in Orangeburg and took it down to Florida. That was, I guess you could maybe call that the start of my trip because I did that on the 23rd. Then I picked up a load in Savannah and took it to Wisconsin. I think that was the last load I made where I talked about getting scammed or almost got scammed, where that load ended up being double brokered. So basically, those two loads that week right there came out to $4,313. And I did $2.43 to the hub for those two loads. Got $1,400 on one and $2,913 on the other. Then from Wisconsin, I took a load down to Arizona. I got $4,900, which was $2.81 a mile. I had a deadhead 106 miles to get it, which put me at $255. I went from Surprise, Arizona, which was the Phoenix area as well. Took that little short run, 231 loaded miles on Amazon, Google, for $2,000. That came to $8.66 a mile. With my deadhead, I was still at $6.12 a mile. And then I took a load from Murata to San Francisco, and I got $1,600, which was $3.95 a mile. With my deadhead, it was $258. And for that week, I did $8,500. That came out to $2.96 for the week. The following week, I picked a load up in Oakland, took it to basically Salt Lake City, picked another load up out of the Salt Lake City area, took it to Lynchfield, Arizona, got $1,600 on that one, $1,800 on the first one. Then I went back from Phoenix back to Gonzales, California, which is the Salinas area. It's about 160 miles, well, about 150 miles, I think, south of San Francisco again. And that's where I was talking about a minute ago that I got jammed up over there again. But I got $2,100. So for that week, I did $5,500. I did 2,200 miles, which was $2.50 to the hub for all three of those loads. Then last week, I picked a load up in Roseville, California, took it to Denver for $3,300. I got 286 paid miles, but with my deadhead, it was $235. The next load, I went from Denver area to Lyngby, Minnesota. I got $2,000. Now, these are the two loads here were the two worst loads I'd done. I just could not get back east, and I was just having to rip the Band-Aid off and leg myself back to the East Coast. But I ended up going from Inglewood, California, Colorado to Lyngby, Minnesota for $2,000. That load paid $2.05 per loaded mile. With my deadhead, I was at $1.88. And that week put me at $2.15 to the hub, and I did $5,300 for the week. Now this week I picked the load up, I think Monday out there in Minnesota. It was a military load going to Charleston, South Carolina. I got $2,800. That load paid $1.99 a mile, which was garbage in my opinion, especially it being a military load. But it got me back home. And it paid $1.76 with my deadhead miles of 163 miles. So this is probably the only load I'm going to do this week because I'm home and I've been gone for a month and I'm not looking to leave again anytime in the next week or so. So that load paid $2,800 and it came out to $1.76 a mile for this week. But the whole picture is, if you look at the whole thing, up here at the top up here, if you click this auto sums every load that I did since the time I left the house on the last trip. So I did $26,413 over the 30-day span. I did $10,900 10 miles, which came to $2.42 a mile loaded. So that's the way my week panned out. Wasn't too bad, or not my week, but my month. That was my whole month. Not too bad. It put me right at my minimal limit. Remember, I always talk about I don't like to run at lower than what a company driver would make. And so if up here at the top over here, you can look at my gross earnings for the year. They're $82,000 for the year. My net, I've netted so far this year $28,000. And I've talked about that in the past. It could be a whole lot more. I didn't work in January, didn't work in February. And I just put some tires on my truck this year. On this last week, I put 8 new drive tires. That's $4,400. Even with that taken out and most of my expenses, this ain't every single expense. I haven't downloaded my credit card transactions off the credit card, but you know, it might be $500, $800, but it's pretty close. So I'm netting so far this year, even with the tires I've purchased on the truck, the $4,400, and all the time and the crap that happened to me in January and February with the pneumonia and being home, I'm still averaging 78 cents to me as a driver, and my cost of operation has dropped this year down to $1.50. And it could be a little bit higher. My cost of operation could be a little bit higher, and my net cents per mile could be a little bit lower based off of a few transactions that could be outstanding that I haven't downloaded. But not too bad. Not too bad, especially right now with the way things have been in this economy. You know, I'll take that. So that's putting me at 78 cents a mile. It's not much more than a company driver, but it is a little bit better. And I'm still working for myself as an owner operator under my own authority.